All right, you've already worked a whole bunch of these patterns questions totally by hand and on your own. And I know there are times that you come up with crazy numbers, or we're asking for a term value that's so far away that you need a way to check your work. Here's how you can use your calculator to help you do that. All right, so once you have your picture set up, and then you come down here and you set up your table, we're going to use the one from the last video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 13, 17. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to press the stat button on the calculator. So when you're looking at your calculator, it's right underneath delete, stat. We're going to press that, and edit is already highlighted. That's what we want. So we're going to then press edit. And what that does is it opens up all these empty columns, and I can scroll across and see there's a whole bunch to choose from. This one goes all the way to 6. I'm going to stay in 1 and 2. And we're going to recreate this table that we wrote on paper in these 2 columns of our calculator. So we'll use L1 for X and L2 for Y. And as you're typing numbers in, you have to hit enter every time. So 1, enter. 2, 3, 4, right? We're hitting enter every time. And then arrow over to L2, 5, enter, 9, enter, 13, enter, 17. Now, always go back and double check, because like I thought I typed 17, but really there's only a 1 there. If I don't fix it here, then when I start plotting points, it's going to get a little wonky. And then later when we're using it for some regressions, it's definitely going to be off. So we're double checking. We make sure that what's in the calculator matches what's in the lists. I've got L1 for X, L2 for Y, and we're ready to go from there. So we're going to hit second, and then this mode button right here, you can see above it, it says quit. We quit out and we're back in the main screen. Okay, so we enter our lists, and then second mode to quit. All right, we haven't done anything yet. I can press graph. There's nothing there. It hasn't helped at all. What we need to do is tell the calculator, okay, go plot those points. So when I press Y equals, up here above it where it says plot 1, plot 2, plot 3, we're going to arrow up to plot 1 and press enter to turn it on. So what we did, we went to Y equals, we went up to plot 1, and then hit enter, because that turns it on. Okay. Now at this point I can press graph, but I can only see 2 points plotted. I want to be able to see all of my points plotted, and I want to make sure that it's some kind of recognizable trend. To do that, we're going to press zoom. So we press the zoom button. And then as I scroll through this list, there's an arrow down there, which means there's more we can't see. So I'm going to scroll down through my list until I get to this one that says zoom stat. Well, I put the points in the table using the stat menu, and so zoom stat is going to automatically adjust my window so that I can see what I was doing in stat. So we're going to go down, that's number 9. Zoom stat. And I can either press the number 9 or I can just hit enter, it doesn't matter. And when I do that, it readjusts my window so I can see my points. And in this case, they're all nice and neatly lined up, which tells us the same things happening over and over and over again, which is what we figured out here. So now I want to check my equation. I'm going to go back to Y equals, and I'm going to enter the equation that we found. When I go back to Y equals, I'm just going to type the 4x. You always using the X that's up by mode. That's your variable button. Plus 1. And then I'm going to hit graph again. And when I graph it, if we've done it correctly, it's going to connect all of our dots. So what's nice about this, I can check it. I know my equation part is right. Well, what if I'm worried about the 100th term that I just figured out, or if I want to know how many, which term is going to have 72 pieces? At this point, then, I'm going to use my calculators table. And to get there, we're going to hit second graph, because it says table above the graph button. When I tell my calculator 4x plus 1, it automatically goes through and calculates just about all of them. So when I get into my table, I can scroll back and forth, up and down, and see whatever happens. So if I want to double check again, there's my 1, 5, there's 2, 9, 3, 13, 4, 17. Okay, so remember we asked about the 10th term. And we said that term number was an x value. So if I scroll down here to 10, there it is, the 41 we got the last time we worked this problem. And 53 pieces, well, that's a y value. So if I scroll through here, there's my 53, and it happens in the 13th term just like we had planned. Okay? So we want to make sure these instructions go in your comp book so that you have access to them. We go to Stat and then Edit and put the X's in L1 and the Y's in L2. Second mode to quit out of that screen. Y equals, arrow up to plot 1, press Enter, and then the Zoom button, option 9, Zoom Stat. That reframes our data in the window so that we can see exactly what we're working with. Go back to Y equals to enter our equation, and when we graph it, we should see it connect the dots. And then second graph takes us to our table so that we can explore values.